Welcome back to another episode of Chef Knives to Go Quick Look Product Reviews. I'm Steve Gamache, and today we are looking at the Yasunori Blue No. 2 Santoku 165mm knife. This knife has a core steel of Aogami or Blue Paper No. 2 reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. The heat treats approximately 62 Rockwell hardness on that. And the construction is a 3-layer sandwich, so it's a softer stainless steel cladding on the outside of each side and over that Blue No. 2 core. The weight on this is quite light. It's about 3.9 ounces or 111 grams. Weights and dimensions vary slightly from knife to knife because they are handmade, but this one has an edge length of about 165 right on the money, about 6.5 inches from tip to chin, and overall length about 300 millimeters. Coming out of the handle, the spine thickness is about 3 millimeters above the back of the blade, but then it actually thins out and kind of does a gentle distal taper, and then we hit this kind of unique grind of the blade. I'll talk about that, but then it gets pretty thin right at the very, very tip. The blade height is about 44.5 millimeters at the back of the blade on this one, and the handle's a nicely finished octagonal ambidextrous walnut with a black packawood ferrule, and fit and finish on the handle's really pretty good. It's pretty smooth, and it's got a pretty good install on it as well, where it comes in there. And the balance point on this is going to be right about there, so it's a little bit behind your pinch. It's a very light blade, and the handle's got a little more mass than like a hoe wood handle, so it's definitely going to be a really light, nimble feel, kind of a slightly handle-heavy feel compared to something with a more forward blade forward balance to it. Finish is nicely done. You've got really well done hand chisel kanji on the right side of the blade. You can feel them with your finger. It's really cool. Well executed. On the back side of the blade, you've got embossed kanji. This has what they've been calling a hairline finish, so the marks and the finish direction is longitudinal to the blade instead of from spine to edge. It's horizontal to the blade. It's got a cool look to it, plus an added benefit when you clean a knife, you're cleaning, and when you're wiping it dry, you're going this way on the blade, and so any scratches you create will help, that finish will help hide any kind of scratches you might put in it, and just wear and tear from cleaning and drying. Mark wanted me to let you know this is his replacement line for the Wakui knives that he had a while back, so again, a similar type of finish on them. And you can see the core steel showing at the edge, and these have a rather unique grind geometry. They've got the blade flat, and then you can kind of tell about where this demarcation line is on the finish, but what they've done is they've tapered it down, and then they've created kind of a slight, very shallow trough or depression here, and then it thickens up just a touch and then goes down in the convex towards the edge before you hit the actual edge bevel. So it's kind of subtle, but you can feel it with your fingers. So you got flats, a little dip, and then up, and then back down to the blade. And that, I would imagine, that is there to help food release. It's nothing quite like the Takeda, but it's kind of the same idea on a different approach. So nice fit and finish on the blade with the back of the blade, the choil into the neck, and also on the spine. So out of the box edge was kind of meh. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Didn't really cut a paper towel very well. I would say you'll need to sharpen this one out of the box if that's any indication, although it's sharpened up really well. It's great steel and gets wicked sharp if you do your part. Performance is really quite good, and it is, again, it's not blade heavy, so you've got to do a little work. It's not just the mass of the blade is not going to help cut through food too much. You've got to help along the cutting actions, but it really goes through food quite well, and has a nice tip on it. It's a good performing knife. Looks nice as well. Let's look at it on our cutting board. Fairly flat, shallow profile on it. I shouldn't say a lot of pure flat, but it's kind of a fairly shallow curve throughout. So if you take a look, it's kind of a continuous curve, but you don't have a lot of belly towards the tip. This knife is not, and every knife's going to be a little different in how it's shaped or ground, but this one, I'm only getting about there before I start digging that tip in. So this is going to be, scallions, small diameter carrots, that kind of stuff. You're not gonna rock over high stuff. You're going to dig that tip right in the cutting board. So this particular one will work if you got some movement in your stroke and some arc to it. Push, pull, glide cuts, that kind of stuff, but not a high rocker. Very nice looking knife and good performing knife. Again, this is what they call the hairline finish, the replacements for the Wakui knives. So here you have a stainless over carbon option, the Yasunori Blue No. 2 Santoku 165mm.